are you?
Thank you. Good, good.
Have a seat.
Yes, sir.
Josh Silveira, the man, undefeated, 9-0. Welcome to the program.
Yes.
Repping ATT, of course, as
All
always.
day.
You could bring that close to you. Yeah.
Okay.
How are you, sir? All good?
Good. How you doing?
This is crazy stuff.
This is good stuff, yeah.
New York City,
Right.
Lulu Theater, MSG,
Yeah.
5th seed. You get the call, Antonio Carlos Jr. out, teammate, and you're in fighting a vet who has like...
And another teammate, yeah.
And another teammate. This is weird stuff. What was your reaction when you got the call that you're in with a chance now to win $1 million?
Man, my reaction was like, at first, you know, it sucks to see a teammate hurt. But it was one of those things where when I got the knockout in that last round, I knew I did what I could do. You know, there's really nothing. There's like a point system. So when they gave me that call, they told me, hey, just relax. There's always something that happens. You never know with the PFL season. So when they gave me that call and then my dad hit me up, he said, hey, we're in. I was like, let's do it. You know, let's go.
Mix of emotions, right? Because your teammate who got hurt.
Yeah, it was a mix of emotions because I knew he was kind of hurt before.
Okay.
And to be honest, Omari broke his nose the last fight. Everyone saw it. He got hit in the nose. So I saw his nose in Atlanta. So everyone was kind of telling me, hey, man, I don't know if he's going to be able to fight. He has a broken nose. So at first it was almost like get ready to fight Shoeface in a way. Just get ready in general. They told me to get ready in general. So I thought I was going to fight Shoeface. And then 2-3 days later, ended up being Omari, you know? But I had a fight against Corey Hendricks already.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah. But I'm curious, how do you feel about the teammate stuff? Like, is that weird?
It's more weird for the coaches. Cause like the coaches I've known these guys since I was like 6 years old. So for them, it's like they're training a guy to go beat up like their nephew in a way.
Right.
Even the boxing coaches, they're brothers. They're legit brothers. So it's like more torn between them. Like, oh, this sucks. But me and Omari were like in the sauna the other day, like chatting. And
really?
I shake his hand all the time. Yeah, man, he's my brother.
But so not awkward? Like, did you see him at the gym as you were?
Yeah, I saw him yesterday. We see, I'll be at one end of the gym. He'll be at the other end of the gym. Every once in a while, the other Dagestanian guys will come with the cell phone. Keep going, during my break. Yeah. And then I'll walk over there, and my dad sometimes will be like, hey, you guys are done training? You know, after his training's over, kind of like, oh, I missed the training. I wanted to see it. You know, Pahumpa's always talking about it too, like coming to see our trainings. But we joke about it, man. It's to be honest, it's just business stuff, you know?
Okay, so you're okay. It won't be hard for you to punch a guy that you respect, that you're friends with.
No, man, no. And I think I expect the same thing from him too, you know what I mean? And he's a tough guy too, man. I know him personally too very well. Trained with him a lot.
So crazy year for you. You get in the Challenger Series. I have to say, obviously we knew of you from LFA.
Yeah.
Knew of you because of your dad, the great Conan Silveira, for many, many years. Legend. I'm going to ask you about him in a moment.
Yeah.
But you're on this PFL Challenger Series show, I believe in February, on Fubo, and you don't get the deal.
I don't get the deal, right?
Which was super weird to me. I was like, how are they going to pass up on this guy?
I know.
Like, you had it all, undefeated.
It was a weird fight, man. It was a weird fight.
I know, the dude was fish hooking you. Yeah.
Grabbed the cage. He bit me a couple times.
Legit.
Yeah, he did. I was in the mount position getting the arm triangle choke, and I just would feel his teeth trying to grasp something, you know?
My God.
Just left me kind of like, what the hell is going on, you know? It was a weird fight, and I think it was a weird fight for everyone to watch, and I think the PFL wanted to see finishes. They're trying to push for finishes, you know? And that guy got that flying knee. We ended up being both of us were in the tournament.
Did you feel weird that you, like, I mean, you're like a huge prospect. How do you not get the contract?
Yeah,
finish or no finish?
It was a little weird, you know. I remember like walking off, and my dad and I kind of looked at his face, and he was kind of like, "Whoa, that was kind of weird." Yeah. And the person who was most fierce was Dan Lambert.
Really?
Yeah, he's mad because he's known me since I was a kid, man. So he's like, you know, what the hell, you know. Then 2 or 3 days later, I get the phone call, and then they're like, "No, you're in."
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So was there a moment where you were like, "Man, I don't want to be with these guys"?
No, it wasn't that. It was just for me. It was I was raised with MMA, you know, so I see these organizations as they're cool, they're nice, but I was raised with when there was no organizations, there was none of this stuff. So MMA for me, or Valitude, or fighting, is kind of like a lifestyle. So for me, it was just like, oh, if it doesn't work out, I'll go to somewhere else. You know, I knew, Eagles was in Miami all the time. I was thinking maybe I'll just get another little fight at Eagles MMA or just wait for somebody else to call me, you know, because I just got great guys around me. So I knew that it was just a matter of time of something happening.
So your dad, Conan Silveira, former MMA fighter, black belt under the Gracie family, and then has fought in the UFC, but you know, gained so much notoriety and attention as a coach at ATT, one of the head guys over at ATT, if not the head guy. And so
he's the head coach.
He is the head coach.
Yeah, he's the head
number
coach,
one.
Co-founder,
Co-founder, along with Dan Lambert.
Dan Lambert, yeah.
And so you're like, when he went to ATT, when he started there, how old are you?
Man, so when
you're 29, right?
I'm 29. When ATT started, you're asking? ATT started in 2002. So I was maybe like...
that was 20 years ago. You're 8, 9 years old.
Yeah, I was 8 or 9. But before ATT, it was called Silveira Brothers. And Silveira Brothers was like that little gym that Dan used to go to. It was Marcelo Silveira was my uncle. And my dad, they had that little team, you know, and that's where it all came from, Silveira Brothers.
Okay.
And then there was Brazilian Top Team. And then like, hey, let's do this thing here. And that's where American Top Team came along.
Do you remember your dad fighting?
Specifically, I don't have like great images. I have picture images. I remember when he fought, I believe, Maurice Smith back in the day. You know, I remember that was like a grudge match. I remember the Battlecade. I remember the mats being yellow, big yellow mats, you know, and people just going insane, you know, and no gloves, things like that. But not understanding really, you know. I just kind of like look at my dad's face. He had like cuts and stitches and stuff. I'm like, what the heck's going on?
You must have thought he was like Superman, right?
Yeah, he's still Superman to me sometimes. That's right. You know, but yeah, no, dude, it was an interesting thing. Growing up, I always thought everybody understood it. Like, oh, you don't jiu-jitsu? You know, you don't arm bars and you don't pass guard. Oh, that's weird, you know, because it was just so involved. You know, I was just so involved in it growing up.
He had a very famous night in Japan with Kazushi Sakuraba. Yeah, the 2 fights in one night. You weren't born then, right?
I was not born then. No, I'm pretty sure I wasn't, because it was weird. My dad was a coach first, had a gym, and then he became a fighter. It usually works the opposite way. You start as a fighter. So I wasn't. I don't think I was born then.
It was like 95, 96 off top.
No,
of
I was born. I was born.
Okay.
Yeah. And John McCarthy, Big John was, I remember talking to him, dude. Back in the day, it was a lot different than the UFC is now. You know, I remember him winning the first fight, and like Big John had to go in there and tell my dad, like, dude, no, they're outside the locker room, and you have to fight again. You got to go out there and fight again. You know, so it's kind of sketchy. Right. You know, you can't even find that poster.
Really?
I don't think
you've looked for it.
I've tried looking for it and stuff. It's very under the rug.
Right.
You know, that was like the first Japan.
Yep. You could find the clips online though. I'm sure you've seen them.
Yeah. And it was kind of a bad stoppage, but that happens all the time. We see it. So we see it now. So I don't know, man. The Japanese guys, I don't know who was back there. They made my dad fight again.
And so do you remember like being 4 or 5 years old? You're in the gym. Like this is just your life. Like you know nothing else. Yeah, I remember just. This was like my playground, you know what I mean? The smell of the gym, the kimonos, a lot of kimonos, you know, just being washed all the time, and the tape, you know, and just these guys, you know, Vitor Belfort was around when I was a kid. Carson Gracie was here, Carson Gracie Jr., Ralph Gracie. That it was just like a family thing, you know? And I kind of remember more like outside the gym, like the barbecues, and I was like, man, I'm with these freaking badass guys. You know, they're badass, but then they were normal to me. They were just regular guys, you know. I remember like my dad going to Publix to weigh himself, like in a Speedo and stuff like that. Why?
Because we didn't have like scales at home.
Really?
Yeah, like, it'd be a line of Brazilian guys like weighing at Publix.
Come on.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It was just kind of like a free for all, man. Vale tudo, you know. We're
showing like old school footage. Oh, you just missed it. I think you posted it on your Instagram. Can we run that again of you as a youngster? Yeah, that was 94, man. 2 years old there. This is you? Yeah, that's me, little blonde baby. They called me Alemão, a little German kid, because all these Brazilian guys tan and you see this little blonde kid walking around looking like, whose baby is this? Right. You have siblings? Yeah. How many? So I have Jago Jr., Max's, Jessica. Well, you got to count? Yeah, I got to count sometimes. I got 5. 5 brothers and sisters. 5 brothers and sisters. They're from different parents and stuff. Okay. But do they fight? No, I'm the only one who does this. Okay. Yeah. Who does anything in martial arts?
The only one who did was the one right below me. He did a little wrestling.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm the only one who does this. And to be honest, I'm not the craziest one. The other ones are a lot crazier than me.
Really?
Yeah. One in California, he's super chill, got dreads all the way down. You know, he's like the California lifestyle, like he chooses to live in his van. Like he does it very professionally, which I think is crazy. You know what I mean?
He lives in his van?
Lives in his van.
Is it like one of these vans that I have here?
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those,
okay.
man. And he sends me pictures like, yo, I modify things. And it looks legit, man. You know what I mean? And he's super into that. So props to him, you know. I think that's a lot more ballsy to do than what I'm doing sometimes.
So when did you decide, like, okay, this is something I want to follow in my father's footsteps and become a fighter?
Man, growing up, I always felt like I wanted to do this. Like it was always in my mind. So my mother she would see that, like, this kid wants to fight. He keeps talking about it. So she would always tell me, like, try to find something else. Like, try to maybe see what you like. So growing up, it was always trying to find something besides fighting, because that was just always in my mind. You know, and I think that's like it's a blessed thing to have, because I think we go throughout our lives not knowing what we want to do. And I think growing up, I'm just like, no, this is exactly what I want to do.
So what age are you around this time where you're like, this is what I want to do?
Man, I remember going to like career day and having to explain to the kids that it's cage fighting. Vale tudo. I would say vale tudo. And like I would do like elbow.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? I was like rear naked. And they're like, what's going on? What is that? I was like, cage fighting. I don't know how to explain it. Because MMA, the word MMA didn't exist then.
Right.
You know, so I just always wanted to, man. Like ever since elementary school, I guess, you know, running around the gym.
You've never wanted to do anything else?
I tried thinking about being like a veterinarian or something like that. Right. I'm not too good with like, it's kind of funny. I'm not good with like blood and cuts, but when I'm in there, it's kind of like, it doesn't respond. Like I don't respond to it when it's happening in the moment, but like watching it and stuff, I'm not too good with that stuff. Like I've thought about like business and stuff like that, you know, like a company and things like that. And I'm just like, man, I just can't wrap my head around it. You know, I feel like I'll be able to open doors with MMA to go do other things. But I've always wanted to do this. It's a strange thing. You know, I'm an MMA baby.
So you went to Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Prior to that, I think it was South Carolina?
North Carolina State.
North Carolina State, yes.
Yeah.
But then you transferred, and you wrestled for Arizona State?
So I wrestled for Arizona State. I started at North Carolina State, ACC school. Shout out to Lee Pritz, you know, he got me out there. And then, you know, I was like the first college kid in my family. Like college kid to like leave and let alone an athlete. Shit was kind of like new to me. So it got a little rocky, and then I ended up going to Iowa, a JUCO,
junior college,
NJCAA, called Ellsworth Community College, and then I ended up winning a national title for them. And then from Ellsworth, Lee Pritz, the same guy who was at North Carolina State, was at Arizona State, and loyalty, man, he re-recruited me. Thank God.
Wow.
You know, and that's how I ended up at Arizona State. And then I ended up being trained eventually under Zeke Jones, which everyone knows.
Yes.
He's the Jordan Burroughs.
Yeah. You weren't there when like Kane and all these guys were there, right?
No, I wasn't. But I would always see Bader and CB. Those were the guys who was always around. You know what I was always see? That legend, man. Him and the Japanese guy that beat each other's face.
Don Fry?
Don Fry.
Yeah.
Bro, he is something else. Yes. A lot of energy.
Man.
But I would see
Great
him.
mustache.
I would see Dan Severn.
Wow.
It was funny because my dad fought Dan Severn.
Yeah.
So that was always fun to talk about, you know. And
then when you graduated, you stuck around in Arizona, and didn't you train at Arizona Combat?
No. So I was I bounced around. So I made it sure that to everyone that I'm an ATT guy.
Okay.
And I talked about it with my dad, and I was like, hey, I'm gonna chill here, you know, because the amateur for Florida is like the pads and stuff. So I was like, yo, hang out there, get some amateur fights, get feel for like not having no pads or shin pads or anything like that. So I stayed there, and then I started going to Power MMA at first with Bader, and then CB and Aaron Simpson, and then I just started like bouncing around because I felt like nobody could tell me really what to do. Like I didn't have my dad there, and I wasn't for sure not gonna let, you know, people try to, because that's what happens. Like these coaches try to take control of you sometimes, you know. So I was like, I just want to make sure to everyone I'm bouncing around, and then eventually I would bounce around to Arizona Combat Sports.
Got it.
And that's where I kind of learned how to spar hard, man. they were brutal out there.
Really?
Yeah.
But you always knew in the back of your mind you were going back to Florida.
To ATT, always. Yeah. But I stayed about 5 years in Arizona total. No. Yeah, about 5 or 6 years. You know, by the 5th, 6th year, my dad was already calling me like, "Hey,
it's time.
Let's get it going now." You know, which was a great transition, because I think if I would have gone to American Top Team right away, it could have been bad.
Why?
It's just it's a
Shark Tank.
It's a Shark Tank there, man. I see guys go in there and it's like you have to get ready to go there. You just can't go there and get ready. It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? Just everyone's cool, man. It's a great system we have, but everyone's tough, man. Everyone is like striving for something there.
And when you graduated, you knew for sure this is what you're going to do.
Oh, for a fact.
By that point, you're like, I'm all in.
Yeah, for a fact. And I went through phases, because as I got older, you start to like realize like, oh crap, the sport's developing. These guys are throwing wheel kicks, and Anderson Silva's leg broke. Whoa, there's a lot of like stuff where when you're a kid, you kind of think you're tough and you just gotta see through that stuff. But I went through phases like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to do this? And my dad called me and he broke it down to me. He said, this is not easy stuff. He's like, we're lucky enough to make it somewhere sometimes. You know, you could be tough. If nobody knows you, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? So there's a lot more than just the fighting aspect to it. So he broke it down for me, and I'm blessed, man, to have these guys behind me.
Having that famous last name, famous father as your coach, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Do you feel that pressure?
I
feel like you don't want to let him down. You know, it's different when it's family, right?
Yeah, you know, I feel the pressure, but my parents came from Brazil. You know, they didn't have much, so me just being where I'm at, that's already like I feel good about like just giving back to my family. You know, like we're not where we started, that's for sure. You know what I mean? So I think for me it's just kind of like the pressure's there, but I love it. I love it because if you ask me at the end of the day, are you going to do it or you don't, I'm going to do it again, over and over again. You know, it's just, I love it. I feel like I was made for this. Like I said, I feel like my family's done so much already, coming to this country and doing things, that this is just like extra happiness, you know?
What's it like at the gym? You have all these guys, legends there, right? Like some of the toughest dudes on the planet, but you're Conan's son.
Yeah.
Do you feel like they take it easy on you?
No.
Are they harder on you? Like what is the dynamic like?
The guys at the gym, they're cool. I'm pretty good at not being Conan's son.
Okay.
You know? I'm pretty good at not using that advantage.
But they know it.
Yeah, they know it, but my dad, if anything, he is super hard on me in front of them. You know, I have an issue with being on time sometimes. You know,
okay. Brazilian time.
Yeah, that's one thing that I got. And he chews me up in front of him, and the guys will look at me like, "Holy shit!" He just yelled at his son like dad and son, not coach and son. You know, and I think when they see that, they kind of don't think like, oh, that's the coach's son. He does what he wants. You know? I'm fair. You know, there's one guy who calls it Maluco, the Joker guy. He calls me Prince all the time. The Prince is here. The Prince. And I'm like, come on, dude. Like, please.
Do you live in the dorms?
No, I did. Not anymore.
You did?
No, I did live in.
Wow.
Yeah.
For how long?
For a while, man. I would say maybe like half a year.
Wow.
I lived there when there was a bunch of Russians. I got really good friends with Nikita Krylov.
Krylov.
Me and him became really good friends in that dorm. Yeah.
What about this Amanda Nunes? She has said some things about your father and stuff. What's up with that? They were so close.
Yeah.
She reached the mountaintop. She was the GOAT. She is the GOAT. And then one loss, and then everything is blown up. How do you feel about this?
Man, you know, it's kind of one of those things where being as the coach's son, I don't really ask my dad much personal things, but you read things online and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think growing up and watching fighters that go through their career, I think they all have a certain superstition maybe, or something they need to do perfectly to have success, you know what I mean? So maybe she went through some stuff and felt like she had to make some changes, and I felt like she said what she said, because I think that was just something she had to say, you know. But I know for a fact that my dad has helped her through her prime.
I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah,
look at what they did together.
My dad and her conquered some things, and nobody could take that from him. But if she felt like she had to think because my dad, what was it that he had to pull her out the fight or something?
Yeah,
it was the coaches. The
right.
coach's fault. I think one thing that coaches do, a good coach will do, he'll listen to the fighters. So I'm sure if she said, "I don't want to fight," he would be okay with it. The first time they fought, the first time she pulled out of a fight against Valentina, my dad said, "Don't do it."
That was the day of the fight.
Yeah, my dad's like, "Don't do it. You're the champion. Don't do it. If you don't feel good,
don't take the fight.
Don't take the fight." Yeah,
really?
My dad's already helped her with that. My dad has issues sometimes with promoters.
Yeah,
because it's like, hey, if he gave you a problem, tell him to call me.
Oh.
You know what I mean? Because, we want to go to battle knowing at least it's a water of unknown, right? The least we could do is at least be ready for it.
Right.
So I think when that article came out, I was a little, I don't care about it really because it's not my career.
It's still your dad.
It's my dad though, so I do have a little taste in my mouth about it. But he's a great coach, man. He won't never push a guy to go do something that they don't feel comfortable about.
That's a great point though.
Especially a championship fight.
Yeah.
The ball's on your side of the court. She could have, I'm sure if she could have, it could have been some issues, but I'm sure they could have found a different main event,
There was a different, it was Poirier-Oliveira.
Oh, Poirier-Oliveira. Yeah,
were.
I'm sure, people were crazy for that fight too.
Of course.
So it wasn't like the card was going to go to.
No, they weren't even the main.
Yeah.
It wasn't like the card would have, but that's a great point about 213. It was UFC 213. It was her versus against Valentina.
Yeah.
And then they had to bump up the Whitaker fight.
Yeah.
And I remember Amanda.
She pulled out the day up.
That
was the only time. That was the only time I think she didn't bring my dad along. So it was a phone call.
Wow.
It was a phone call.
Why didn't you bring him?
Like I said, superstition. You want to change things up. I've seen fighters do things that are awkward, whoa, but maybe in their mind and their soul, that's what they need to do. But it was like a phone call, man, because I'm sure she was asking everybody, what should I do? What should I do? And she's like, well, let me call him. And he told her straight up, you know what I mean?
Is he hurt by this?
I don't think he's hurt because the guy is unbreakable.
Yeah.
The guy's he's been through a lot more, And I think when you're dealing with fighters, pros, not just fighters, pros, right? This is different than the collegiate athlete where there's scholarships hung over our head and we could get kicked off. These are pros, man. If you want to do nothing and get ready for the fight, like a coach accepts that, they can't do anything about that. You make your decisions, So I think he's upset, but man, he not so much upset. He's moving on,
Okay.
And I think it's just like any article, man. You know what I mean?
Now, what about this Colby Covington? I mean, this guy's a real problem, right?
Yeah, man. I used to train with him tons.
Really?
What his main training partner. Me and Johnny Eblen used to train with him a lot.
Bellator champion.
Yeah, Bellator champion.
Yeah,
we all used to train tons, because a lot of wrestling.
What was he like? Was he the guy that we see on TV or completely different?
He wasn't. At least in front of me, he wasn't. Quiet. He was more, quiet to himself. I'm sure he felt a lot of tension in the gym.
Right.
I'm sure.
So you were training with him even towards the end there with all the stuff with Jorge and Dustin.
Yeah, I trained with him for that the first Usman fight.
Really?
Yeah, Usman, Robbie Lawler, another fight. I think he was getting ready, but it didn't happen. Yeah, I was training with him a lot, and for the simple fact because a lot of guys don't want to train with him.
Okay.
Too.
And why were you the guy?
Because I think I'm pretty neutral, know, and it wasn't just a lot of guys. Some guys did want to train with him, but it was, should we? Because they might want to hurt him in training.
Wow.
It was that too.
There had to be trust.
Yeah, he rubbed a lot of people off wrong.
Right.
I mean, for me, it doesn't really affect me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Even training with the guy, I always tell people, hey, I'm just training with him. Don't take it personal or anything like that,
But a lot of the Brazilians in the gym were upset, right? The filthy
Brazilians,
animals.
Russians, they don't like, they never liked, not that they never liked them, they ended up not liking them.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you feel the heat for that?
Oh, yeah, I felt the heat. You know?
did?
Yeah.
People were mad at you for training with him?
Oh, no, not me feel the heat. I felt the heat in the gym. But
there was.
No, I think people kind of enjoyed me more. Like, oh, this guy could be able to do this and he's still hanging out with us.
Okay.
I'm very neutral there. That's like, I got the Brazilian culture in me, but I was raised here in America, so I understand a little bit of, different types of people in a way,
right.
So it didn't affect me training with him at all, but it would be kind of weird. You see how nice he was when we were training together and stuff, and then I would go see an interview and, you know, telling Joanna to fuck off or something like that, or really talking about like kids and people's wives. That's the part that kind of like, you know, I prefer the other stuff.
Yeah, there's a line.
Yeah, you know.
And so when he left, did things get better? Like, could you tell?
Yeah, I could tell things got better for sure. People were definitely happy that he left. Like I said, for me, it was a training standpoint. The guy has a great cardio. He's a machine.
Yeah.
I learned a lot training with him. You know, so I got things out of it. But yeah, when he left, I didn't really feel I didn't feel so much tension. You know, especially between him and George.
Yeah.
You know, and I've known those guys. It's funny because for me, I've known those guys since I was like 15 years old.
Wow.
14. Like when Kobe was fresh out of college. So I would see them literally best friends coming into college, goofing, or coming into the gym, goofing off and stuff like that. So I remember bringing Jorge aside one day, and I was like, Georgie, we call him Georgie. Georgie, seriously, like you guys aren't fucking with us. Like seriously, tell me at least.
Yeah.
And he's like, Josh, I wish I could like tell you this was all a joke, but it's not. And that's when I realized, I was like, damn, it's like that's serious stuff. Yeah. You know?
Yeah, we saw on your Instagram, you've rolled with Shaq.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Shaq showed up at the gym one time.
At the gym.
Yeah.
You have a picture there with Kimbo when Kimbo was there.
Yeah, man. Kimbo was the man. I got to get to know him a little bit during his little MMA.
What a legend, huh?
Journey. A legend. He's a super nice guy.
Right.
Like when you talk to him, completely, like you might have like this vision or this thing of what he might be. You get to talk to him. It's like, wow.
Teddy bear.
Yeah. Super cool guy.
Very intimidating on the surface.
Very intimidating, and you're like, yo, his teeth are all shine everywhere, and you get close, you're like, oh, he's not that bad, you know? But you think of the guy punching the dude's eye out.
Sure.
That's the Kimbo I see, you know?
And did you have aspirations to go to the UFC? I know you say Vale Tudo, this and that, but really didn't care?
So to me, the UFC, like, I'm grateful the UFC's been around, you know?
Yeah.
We need them, you know? They were like... without them, I don't know where the sport would be. So I had a dream to become a champion, you know. And then I see all these shows coming, you know, building up, and I did have like, yo, UFC would be cool. UFC is the mission, and then I would get to know these fighters, and I'm like, man, this guy's living pretty well in the Bellator, you know. And a guy that left the UFC go to the PFL, man, this guy is doing a lot better for themselves. And then I go talk to these guys, and I pick their brains a little bit, and eventually just became more open, you know. I want to go somewhere where I'm valued, somewhere where someone's going to want me, where they enjoy me there. We can make money together, obviously, and change the world a little bit, I guess, you know, for the better or however, you know.
And you feel that at PFL?
Yeah, man, I feel like PFL is a new thing, you know, and I think you have choices where you could like kind of jump on something good already, or kind of help build something. And,
right.
I think at the PFL I could help build something a little bit over here, you know. And I don't know what the future holds, but this is a good start.
And you're 2 fights away from $1 million.
From $1 million, yeah, man.
Crazy,
that's insane,
man.
right?
Less than a year ago, you're fighting on the Challengers in
Challenger
front of,
series, getting fish hooked, and now I'm fighting for
rocking a sweet mullet.
Yeah, man.
It's great.
The Brazilian with the mullet over here, huh?
I love it. What do you think happens on Friday? What's the prediction?
You know,
you've sparred him?
Oh, many times.
Oh my God,
we've
this is
trained.
crazy.
Yeah, we sparred, we trained. He tells me all the time, you know, hey, this is good. He tells me it's gonna be hard sparring. Sparring. I was like, oh, for sure, hard sparring, you know. But to be honest, you know, I'm sure. A fight's a fight at the end of the day. You're going to feel that process, right? When I look in there, I think I'm going to have to get over that little hump first. We're both going to have to get over a hump, you know. Got to get through this. Let's get it on, you know. But I think once it starts going, man, we're both going to be in the zone. And I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but I know that he's been around the block for a while, you know. He's been fighting for a long time, a lot of wear and tear, a lot of hard fights. So I'm just going to go push the pace. Get after him and make him go to work one more time. You know what I mean?
I love it, man. Great to meet you.
Thank you, brother.
I wish you the best, Josh. Yeah.
Appreciate it a lot.
A lot of fun. Thank you so much, and keep it up.
Definitely, brother. Appreciate it a lot, man.
Good luck to you on Friday. There he is, Josh Silveira, joining us. A huge name, a huge prospect.